Good morning and welcome to Positive Vibes, making positivity and gratitude louder in a podcast world. And of course, I'm Shay Nikolic. Y'all know who I am. That was, I didn't need to say that, but oh well, I did. Um, uh, yeah, I have a guest calling in. Um, Yeah, due to the time difference, there was some scheduling conflicts, and she's going to be on here very soon. Her name's Sherrie Elyse. She started following me on Instagram, and of course, I checked out her page and thought, okay, cool, very cool person. I'll follow you. Um, Very positive lady. She's in, she just does a myriad of different things. Um, and I'm just wanting to delve further into that with her and, just getting into the positivity and, gratitude and just spreading positive vibes or positive vibes, like the name of my show here. And, yeah, we're running a little late this morning, or I'm running a little late this morning. Um, had some technical difficulties here at the station. I was confused about the microphones, uh, which one we were using, and wondering what was going on here in the station. Um, yeah, it's just, yeah. Anyway, finally got through all that, and then I was trying to sign in sign into Zoom, and yeah. At any rate, Christian showed up and saved the day. Showed me how to get to the top screen, sign into Zoom and all that, and get it linked into my Facebook Live. So, yeah, here we go. Um, yeah, it's like, you know, still, still some ropes to learn. So far as the phrase "learning the ropes" here at the station. Um, yeah, well, yeah, and it's like yesterday I had the best day yesterday, or one of the best days. I have a lot of those best days, but uh, anyway, joined a mini. I drive a Mini Cooper, and I joined a mini group, a local mini group here in the Pacific Northwest area, region, whatever, the Pacific Northwest Miniacs. Um, I met up with a couple of other mini owners here in Tacoma, and we drove up to Port Orchard and met up with like 20 others, uh, mini owners, and uh, we drove all around Port Orchard, and yeah, that was pretty sweet. Just being in the middle of this big old line of minis. Uh, well, actually, there was one motorcycle. I guess this motorcyclist he was riding a Honda, and I guess he is a mini owner. His car's in the shop or something, and he had already said, "Okay, I'll go on the ride," and wanted to go and come to the event anyway. And so he just rode his motorcycle in the line of Mini Coopers and or minis, I guess. There may have been a Mini Countryman or two in there. I'm not sure. I forget. And yeah, it was like super super cool and just an awesome group of very positive people. Um, and it's like they said, welcome to the family. And yeah, it's just awesomeness. And yeah, it's like this morning the in my if you haven't seen it already, my post that I put on Instagram and Facebook, I shared, I made a layout with two pictures. One picture is the selfie that Gary Vee took on my phone of him and I at VaynerMedia back in New York City on November 20th, 2017, when I had my appointment with him. And then the second picture is just a selfie I took this morning of me here in the studio getting ready for my podcast here. Uh, because, and the connection there is that when I had my appointment with Gary Vaynerchuk there at VaynerMedia back in 2017, that appointment, or at least 6.5 minutes of it, were put on his podcast, and so from East Coast to West Coast, from his podcast to my podcast, it's like positivity and gratitude all over, and basically nationwide and worldwide, wherever those podcasts, have been or will be heard, um, and it's like, yeah, just checking here. Okay, right on. I was just checking to see if my guest was ready or not, and still not. Still good. Still not on. I guess I'll find out when she comes on, um, because she'll be on the Zoom call with me. But at any rate, yeah. Um, I'm just, but yeah, it's like I'm really excited for uh, to be doing this podcast today with Sherrie. Um, it's like I do. I started out putting my positivity and gratitude out there on Instagram, and now, and well, Facebook, and now I'm doing this podcast, and it's like I'm just, what's that? I forget the basically, you if you put, I forget exactly how the phrase goes or how the saying goes, but basically, if you're positive and you're putting positivity out into the universe, then the universe um, sends the universe will send positivity or give you positivity, send positivity back to you. Um, yeah, it's like sort of sort of like an echo. You put positivity, speak positivity out there, and the positivity is echoed back to you, if you will. Um, yeah, but at any rate, I you know put my I put my own personal positivity out there, and I'm just seem to be attracting positive positivity and gratitude and positive people into my life. And so, I'm just going with it. And I wanted to, I thought about it a while back and, got off track, but I just, I saw Sherry's name come across my Instagram the other day, and I'm like, hey, yeah, I got to have her on my podcast. So um, that's why I invited her on this morning, is because, from what I see on Instagram and, well, Facebook, Sherry is a very positive person, got a lot of cool stuff going on in her life, and, just very positive person, grateful about it. Want to bring her on and share that with you all. Um, yeah, and oh yeah, and yeah, yesterday, also yesterday, when I got home from that the Pacific Northwest Miniacs event up in Port Orchard, got home from that, and it was a little late, but got on a uh, got on a Zoom call seminar, the Rise to Greatness seminar. I forget, there was a total of 5 speakers. I forget the other speakers' names, but the main speaker, the keynote speaker was Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher, and some of you may know or have seen or heard of Eric Thomas and his "Thank God It's Monday" videos. He that was like one of the things he started out with was YouTube videos, and just thank God it's Monday. Every Monday he'd get on there and do a video and be like, "Thank God it's Monday," and just gratitude, and going from there. And he was always, and I've watched a lot of his videos, and other than his "Thank God It's Monday" videos, and he's always talking about, being phenomenal and things being phenomenal, life being phenomenal. And oh, hey, there you are. Hi,
Hi,
Sherrie.
Shane. Hi, Shane. Good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good. Sorry I'm late.
Oh,
Uh,
that's okay. That's okay. No problem. No problem whatsoever. It's like, like you were saying with the different time zones and everything, it's like sort of a mix up a lot of times. I get like that myself. Uh, but it's like, you know, I don't know, just I'm grateful you're here now, you're on the call. So
yeah, little miscalculation there. Happy to be here with you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
definitely. Well, I don't know if you heard, but like I was just saying on the call, it's like, we became friends or co-followers on Instagram, and friends on Facebook. But it's like, just you seem like a very positive and grateful, inspirational person. So it's like I had to have you on my podcast.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah, I try to stay positive as much as possible. Look for the silver lining in every situation. And I always find it. It's always there. You can always find those things that can make what may seem like a bad situation make it a lot better. So yeah, it's helped me. I mean, I think when you're able to do that, it can really shift your consciousness and make you a happier person. So
Definitely. Definitely. I can definitely attest to that one. Um, yeah, for sure. It's like I've been in super negative spots in my life, and it's like, shifted through a series of events or whatever, depending on the situation, circumstance, what have you. I, was able to shift my mindset from that super negative space I was in, to where it's like, basically from you know, a ball on the ground, that didn't want to even get up off the ground to essentially a shiny, happy person, it's like just grateful for everything.
yeah, and there's
Um,
always something to be grateful for.
yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. I love where you're at right now. The background you got going on. That's sweet.
Oh yeah, I've got a nice backyard back here with a garden in the distance, and of course the neighbors are having a party.
Right on. What would life be without parties? um, but yeah, let's see. I just took well, essentially, I sent this to you last night to give you a heads up on what I was going to ask, but I'll just read it here. I know you on uh, I know you on Instagram and Facebook only as a very positive woman, a practitioner of yoga and gardener, and you eat a very healthy diet. And on your IG profile, Instagram profile, it says you're an artist, designer, creative, gardener, yoga practitioner, and on-camera talent. And I was just wondering if you could elaborate on those, especially the on-camera talent.
For sure. Right. So what I do for a living is I work in the film industry, and the majority of the time I work as a background actor, which most people know to be an extra. It's a person who doesn't speak lines, but does other things on camera. And they might have, a very involved part where they're really interacting and acting with the talent, but they don't speak lines, or maybe they speak a group line, or they could be just somebody off in the distance who adds some color or adds some movement to the background with whether it's a crowd or a restaurant or what have you. So that's typically what I do. And this past week, it was really an intense week actually. But this past week, I started working as a production assistant or a PA. So I just started working behind camera actually, which has been different and interesting. So I've been on both sides, behind and in front of camera, uh, on various film, TV projects, etc.
Right on, right on. That's exciting, even if it's, that's exciting just to be in the film industry, you know. Uh, yeah, I've thought about that before, getting a job as an extra. Just never have done it. Maybe I should. Um,
Well, you can always try it. Uh, you can usually get booked for a day or a week at a time, and it's a small commitment. It's not a big commitment, so you can try it, see if you like it. If you hate it, you don't have to go back. Of course, we want to formally cancel, not just show up.
yeah,
Not waiting on you. But yeah, and things are different right now with this whole COVID thing. Things have been a bit weird, but I'm happy to be working again. I think everybody's happy to be working again, and getting we'll be getting more shows out to everybody. Um, as for the other things, yes, I do yoga. I meditate. Um, that's a part of my life. I do martial arts, and I do it as much as possible. I was doing this, doing meditation, yoga every day when we were going through this whole hiatus. And since I started working again, I'm just doing it whenever I have time, which sometimes it's only the weekends. Sometimes I only have 5 minutes a day to really, take that moment to meditate and go within. But it always makes a difference, even if it's only 5 minutes. And it helps. It helps because
yeah, I can attest to that one. It's like just that, even if it's only a minute or two, just that any time, any, increment of time that you're able to just, you know, rest and center yourself, it's like it's so beneficial. Um, even if it is, only a couple minutes, or like you're saying, 5 minutes out of an entire day, that's so important just to get that time.
sure. Yeah, it's made a huge difference. I started doing meditation and yoga. I think it was like 7 or 8 years ago now. And looking back on it, like my personality has changed, my habits have changed, and like you mentioned, I'm a much healthier person now. I'm a much more positive person than what I used to be. And I mean, the difference is huge. You can't necessarily tell from one day to the next, but like when I look back several years ago, I'm like, wow, you know, I quit smoking. I quit, you know, I used to smoke cigarettes. I used to drink. And back many years ago, used to be into harder drugs, and quit all that. A large part of the reason I was able to stay off of these things is because of the mindfulness, the meditation, yoga, and of course, eating healthy as well has been very helpful. So all that has just given me a much more balanced and healthier life. So definitely recommend whatever kind of mindful practice helps you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like you know, since, well, it's like I've been clean and sober since I was 16, and uh, yeah, I'm coming up on 29 years clean and sober here. But it's like with the, yeah, just the, you know, the meditation, mindfulness, like you were saying, eating healthy, just putting healthy things into my body, you know, and just being healthy overall, and staying away from the, you know, staying away from what is bad for me, staying close to what is good for me and healthy, and leads to a positive life and positive living. It just, you know, it's ever expanding. It just builds upon itself and seeps into the rest of life.
Right, for sure. And some people will tell me that they can't meditate, or you know, it's one of those habits. It takes time to build a habit, and I think it's the same way with eating healthy. You might be used to eating junk food. I used to eat junk food, sodas, fast food. You know, I was on a very acidic diet, and at first, it was difficult to make that switch. And I just did it incrementally. And at first, some of the healthier foods didn't taste good to me, and you know, my taste changed. I just had to remind myself and discipline myself. Remind myself, I want to feel good. I'm not just going to eat something just because it tastes good. I'm going to take a step to eat foods, find foods that make me feel good. And you know, you can actually, contrary to what some people think, healthy food can actually taste really good. And now, like, the I don't even want to eat like French fries and hamburgers anymore. You know. And you mentioned earlier me as a creative. That is something I do as well. I also do graphic design. I do various kinds of art. I have a background in sculpture and graphic design, and I still do graphic designs. I'm working on some websites right now. So that's another one of my little side hustles that I do. So,
Right on.
and it's fun. I try to make things fun, and that's one reason why I've worked in entertainment. Is I want things to be fun, and I want to be learning something and doing something where I'm not just earning a paycheck. I want to be beyond just earning a paycheck. So I try to do things that are at least a little bit fun.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, you got to have a little fun, otherwise why are you doing it?
Yeah. There's got to be something. I mean, I'm a huge believer in doing things that feed your soul, nourish your soul, because I believe that's our true nature of who we are. We're not just these physical bodies. We're not just the mind that thinks and, you know, thinks and thinks and thinks. We're more than this. We are spirit that's using a body and using a mind. So we've got to do things that nourish us and give us purpose. So, you know, I try to incorporate that in my life as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that's definitely definitely a good point. You know, a good point to make is, you know, that a good point to make is that, you know, we have to nourish ourselves and nourish, you know, basically for me it's like doing this podcast, doing my daily posts on Instagram and Facebook, and you know, doing everything I do around that, and my writing a book and trying to get, you know, my message and my story out there to inspire and, you know, possibly motivate some people is, um, you know, even if it is only one, um, you know, is just to that 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 has become my purpose. That, you know, and it essentially nourishes my soul to be able to be doing this and do all that.
Right. Yes. And I've been watching you on Instagram. I love your stories. It's inspiring. You always have something positive and inspiring to say. And I love seeing entrepreneurs and people like yourself constantly moving forward, doing those positive steps for self development. I love that. I can't wait to read your book and see what else you have going. And I
Right
love
on.
seeing you today.
Right on. Well, thank you very much. Um, and if you had a book, I'd be getting your book and reading it. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's like, you know, just, and that's what I was saying, you know, on this Zoom call before you hopped on. You know, that's what I was saying is that, you know, you started following me on Instagram to begin with, you know, and you liked my positivity and my inspiring posts. And, you know, I checked out your page and it's like, hey, you know, she's positive and inspiring too, you know, so I think I'll, you know, follow her back. And, you know, it's like that, that's what we need. That's what the world need. I think the world needs more of. It's just, you know, positivity and, you know, moving forward and, you know, and not all this combativeness and everything that I see out there. That's the word I come up with. That's what I see anyway. Um, but yeah, and it's like I love seeing your posts, you know, because you're always like chilled out doing yoga or in your garden, you know, gardening or, you know, harvesting, you know, harvesting dinner or your uh, you know, harvesting food to stock up or what have you. Um, yeah, it's just when I was a kid, when I was in my teens, living with my mom and stepdad, and up in the hills, and we had a garden up there, big garden up there, and everything, and um, you know, I didn't want anything to do with it, and I just, you know, okay, you guys go do that and leave me out of it. But you know, and now it's like sort of I almost want that back, you know. Almost want to be back there so I could, you know, join in with them, you know, and plow the garden and, you know, plant all the seeds for the food that we're going to eat, and, you know, watch it grow and then harvest it. It's like, you know, but at least I have gotten to the point where, you know, as you've seen in my posts, I've recently gotten away from all the junk food and everything, and started eating natural, healthy foods. Um,
Yeah.
and it's like I was talking with actually my friend Carrie, who was actually on my podcast a while back. Um, she's a nutritionist and personal trainer, what have you. And I was talking with her, and like she was saying, don't focus on what you can't eat, focus on what you can eat. And that has been so very beneficial, focusing on what I can eat. And it's like what flavors can I eat instead of oh, I can't go to a buffet, or have a massive amount of this greasy food over here, but I can eat this and it is good.
Yes, I try to focus the same way. And one what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to keep low carbs and low sugar, and taking most of my calories of the day, like during lunchtime. So I'm not just like eating throughout the day. And I'm hoping that that's gonna help with my energy. Uh, so I just focus on that. I don't think about the breads and all that too much. I just focus on, okay, I can eat certain things. And I do eat ancient grains, like I'll eat quinoa, millet, things like that. And I try to eat organic foods, pesticide free food as much as possible. It's not always an option working in film because, we're eating catered food, but I just do the best I can. And we do have a lot of really nice food, which is helpful. So I just try to think about that as well. What can I eat? And, in my situation, can I bring food from home to work? And yeah, I can. So I'm just doing that as much as possible and eating, the most fresh organic food that I possibly can. And I just forgive myself. Like if there's a day where I'm just not able to do it, I just forgive myself for it. Don't harp on it too much. I used to have cheat days, which I think I'm gonna kind of stop doing. But I used to have cheat days once a week on like Saturdays, where I would just on that day eat whatever I wanted. And for some people, that's a helpful thing to do. Helps you. For some people, that helps them keep the discipline the rest of the week. I kind of picked that up from Tim Ferriss. Tim Ferriss does that. Evan Carmichael, who he does that as well. And I found you actually through Gary Vee. I know you did some work with Gary Vee years ago, and that's how I found you initially and started following you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I had taken the day off work because I'd been following him for a few months or a year or whatever, and I'm like, dude, I wonder, if I can go see him on my, when I'm on this road trip around the country. And I was thinking he's there in New York. Maybe I'll just swing through New York on my road trip and stop by and say, hey, Gary, how you doing? But anyway, I looked on his website, found out he was going to be out of the country at that time, and found out he was going to be speaking in Portland, Oregon, right, sort of near me, like 120 or whatever miles away from where I was living here in Washington. And it's like I, found out he was going to be speaking there, got a free ticket, went down and saw him, said, hey, Gary, how you doing, and gave a little intro. He flew me to New York, and that was about it. And then, yeah, it sort of, I don't know. I had started, I was doing social media, just hadn't hadn't really done much with it. And then, just I had been following him, heard him talk about doing these things, but hadn't really done them. And yeah, that day in New York just sort of a major, well, him flying me back to New York and that day in New York, and having my own personal appointment with Gary Vee, just really gave me a kick in the butt and got me moving. And, now I'm actually doing it, got a podcast. I do, I got my YouTube channel. Don't put much on there anymore except for my podcast, but you know, it's it's a work in progress, and just like life, it's a work in progress.
Well, hey, I mean, that's a lot more than most people do. And having this podcast on there, I think that's still good content. I'm sure uh, that's a valuable content to have a visual and auditory podcast. Yeah, Gary Vee's motivated me a lot as well. And I think it was in his conversation with you, he talked about that $1.80 strategy of comment and comment and give valuable commentary on other people's posts, and don't just follow and unfollow and expect people to follow you. So yeah, always great advice coming from him. I've tried out that somewhat. I haven't been able to do it as in the extent that he suggests of doing that that $1.80 a day, which is 10 cents, each comment's like your 10 cents you're putting in. Haven't been able to do that, but even in the small amount that I have been able to do, it's still gotten me more attention and follows and stuff like that. So
Yeah, yeah, it's like that the $1.80 strategy. Oh man, yeah, it's like what, yeah, like he in that video on Daily V 346 was the episode when I was in New York. He like he talks about there, it's like he likes to see growth. He likes the growth, social media growth like that. People following you, likes it, the organic growth like that a lot more than the follow unfollow. It's like people spamming you, and just, oh yeah, I'll follow you, and then you don't see them on as your follower the next day. It's like, okay, what was that for? You know, but it's like, then you get genuine followers like you and I following each other, and we like each other's content, and continue following each other and keep seeing good content, and not just, oh, I like that, I think I'll follow this person, and then unfollow. It's like, what's the point of that?
yeah, and I've noticed a lot of people when they're doing the follow unfollow thing, it's selfish. Like I think he's mentioned, it's coming from a point of selfishness. Like that person is just looking for somebody to follow them. They're not really giving value. And part of what I love about what Gary puts out there is he's always talking about giving without expectation. And naturally, the universe will give back to you. It's a universal principle. It's the law of karma. It's a universal principle, which is he just naturally picked up on. And yeah, I think that's the way to live, being without expectation, and you're just giving to other people. It makes you feel better. And it does naturally bring good things to happen to you. It's the law of the universe. And I think it's a healthier way to live anyway than to just say, well, I'm only going to do something for you if I get something back. I think that's kind of a low aspect of consciousness. And thankfully, I feel like we're evolving, humanity is evolving, and it's growing beyond that. yeah, we're seeing a lot of chaos and divisiveness right now. But at the same time, I'm seeing more people become awakened to higher aspects of consciousness, higher, and when I say higher aspects of consciousness, I just mean even just little things like what I just mentioned, giving without expectation, just being able to give to another person without thinking, hey, what's in it for me? So I think thankfully we are beginning to really evolve.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta, yeah, we gotta get going here. I just realized what time it is, but I, I, I have noticed, I have noticed that same thing. You know, it's like with everything going on, a lot of chaos. Well, just a lot of chaos in the world right now with COVID and everything that's going on surrounding that and otherwise. Um, but you know, we've worked around that, and you know, people coming together on a lot of Zoom calls and you know just other ways and connecting. You know, even though we're quarantined apart, we're still connecting, and you know, it's like amazing that way. Um, you know, and there's a lot of I have noticed a lot of as I was getting from what you were saying, a lot of awakening and enlightenment happening and evolving. Um, and yeah, I'm just grateful to be, you know, grateful to be a part of it. And, you know, feeling really positive about that. And I'm ever so grateful that you were able to join me on on this podcast today. And so thank you, Sherrie. This was amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Shane.
Yeah, and you know, we're connected on Instagram and Facebook, so you know we'll be talking again. Um, but yeah, I just once again very grateful and thank you for you know hopping on this call today and joining me and sharing your positivity and gratitude with my listeners, viewers.
Yeah, I'm really grateful to you. Really grateful we had this opportunity to talk today and connect. Uh, and yeah, I'll look forward to talking to you later. Have a good one.
All right, take care, Sherrie. Bye bye.
You too. Bye.